Hello, everybody. Here we are in round one, and we've got the sketchy hand that we totally deserve being on the draw. First play could be a Weight of the Underworld or Return Centaur, but is not guaranteed. I think I have to mulligan this. We have only one of our colors and no plays until turn 4, by which we'll probably be dead. This is much better. Oh, our opponent also mulliganed, so we are getting a little bit lucky. I think if we're both on 6 here, we are in a totally fine position. Lead on the swamp. So we've got turn 2, turn 2 Fetid Imp here coming up for us. And yeah, we'll go ahead and spoil the mountain now. No reason to hold it. And next turn we have a Thopter Engineer, which is why, Dragon Fodder is just not that good. Just the 1/1s don't often get in. Well, Sigil of Valor helps. Spoke too soon here. So this is an interesting position. So what we could do, I'm definitely not going to Reeve Soul away a token or something. That seems pretty bad. So we're just going to take our medicine here. Ooh, but this is interesting. So Thopter Engineer can block this guy now, or it might not be able to if our opponent plays a creature, which case we're taking 3. But if I play the Thopter Engineer now, I get in for 2 this turn. If I play the Fetid Imp now, I have 2 Fetid Imps back to block, and I can trade for the token? Nah, that seems bad. Let's go ahead and start putting some damage on the board. Yeah. Sigil of Valor is annoying. If our opponent doesn't play a creature here, we can block. Which it looks like they have not. If they want to... Okay, yeah. Wow, nothing. That is interesting. Right. Well, I think we still just get in with our flyers. And we're going to follow up with our second Fetid Imp. See what our opponent is up to here. Could just be that our opponent is stuck off of their second land, second color, whatever that may be. In which case, we should start taking full advantage of it. Don't exactly have the greatest clock in the world, though, so hitting for 3 each turn is just going to be be the best that we can do. Thopter Engineer holding back the Goblin. Doesn't also have a good attack either. Opponent is flooding on red, but we are also flooding, it turns out. But we have flyers, so we're pulling ahead here. Get our opponent down to 10 this turn, probably down to 7 next turn. Unless our opponent has like a big 7 mana play here, we can Reeve Soul away, most threats. I think our opponent is just flooding sort of incredibly. I will block this. If our opponent has a card to push through the damage, it's fine. Yep, that is annoying. Well, we are drawing all the lands as well. I don't like the idea of playing the Reeve Soul here. Opponent gets to crack back for 2, and we're ahead in the race by 3 turns. So, and we can slow it down whenever we want to, but I Reeve Soul away this token, and our opponent plays, not that, but plays something a little bit better, then we're in trouble. So we're taking 3 here, 10 to 11. probably will just Reeve Soul away the Majoring Bully. Or wait. Wait is a little bit more flexible. I like just Reeve Soul here. Yeah, and we'll keep the pressure up. Like I said, we can slow things down if we need to, but currently pretty far ahead in the race, and I don't want to blow the weight of the underworld. Did I miss a land drop? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah. So like Sergeant is a much better target for our weight anyway. Opponent hits us down to 8. We're gonna get them down to 4. Help if we drew a spell. And it's a Fiery Impulse, so we don't have to even blow our weight quite yet. The reason I want to hold the weight is, like, we have infinite mana at this point for our deck, and I'd much rather use the weight to mitigate a bigger threat than just as like killing a 2/2. If our opponent plays like some 4-power guy or something, Weight of the Underworld just sort of takes that out of the equation, whereas Fiery Impulse doesn't really do anything for us. So just holding on to this. The other possibility is we draw Blightcaster, and then we get to just kill all of our opponent's stuff. I don't think our opponent wants to do that. It's not like a double pump spell in red, right? Spell. This is what our opponent is also yelling at their computer right now. God. This has been about the stupidest game of Magic. Yep. Got a 2-turn clock now. So the question is, going down to 4 is a little bit risky. My God. Are we just dead? Ravaging Blaze? Wow. Okay. Well, opponent had it. I think they had it for a while. But what do we want to do against this opponent? We saw red. They could be playing mono red. I don't think any of these cards are particularly good against mono red. So I think we just run it back. That was a weird game. Both us and our opponent just didn't draw relevant cards. This hand is fine. We have a Reeve Soul for the early game, and we have Read the Bones to bridge us to the late game. So I'm fine being here. Lands are good draws. Spells are not quite as good. Turn 1 in red, against red is always like worrisome because your opponent could have a Goblin Glory Chaser and you could just like lose to the Goblin Glory Chaser. I mean, we have a Reeve Soul in our hand, but it's pretty risky. All right, Fetid Imp, gotta hold him off. Land would be great here. Yeah, nice. So we're gonna Read the Bones. And scry into land. And actually, land looks great, so we're gonna take those. Could be greedy, but I think I am lucky to have land. Blazing Hellhound is gonna opponent's gonna get in one of their goblins underneath their Fetid Imp. It's interesting. Blazing Hellhound holds the ground down here pretty well. And we don't yet have Spell Mastery, but the Life Gain on Unholy Hunger could be relevant in this match. Alright, play the other Swamp. Play out the Hellhound. Could try to get fancy here, but I don't see the point. Our opponent really hasn't played a spell that makes me want to... Okay, well... But yeah, as I said, our opponent hasn't played a spell that really makes me want to blow removal on one of these creatures. Okay, getting aggressive. This could be Titan Strength. Or it could just be trying to get in. Thopter Engineer is a decent draw. Yeah, just gonna play the Thopter Engineer here. And I think just get in with, nah, let's get in with both of our flyers. If our opponent wants to blow a removal spell on the Engineer, that's fine for us. And we need to start knocking our opponent a little bit lower. We don't want to do what we did last game and get blown out by a Ravaging Blaze late. Alright, so I can Ravaging Blaze here, or I can Unholy Hunger. Which would I rather do? Oh, well, I could just do that. Let's just do that. Boom. Kill the Cobble Brute. Yep, Guiltleaf Winnower, strong magic card. It's true. I'd love to use Guiltleaf Winnower's ability. We're going to get in. Gotta remember not to miss my land drop here. Alright. Yep, so we're in a great position this game. You know, we drew spells as opposed to last game. Veteran Sidearm, interesting. So, I mean, it's probably the case that our opponent will double block the Winnower if we come in, and then I'm like trading a good removal spell for, you know, not a good creature. You know, I guess this Reeve Soul isn't really doing much right now, so taking that out makes me a little bit more comfortable with this attack. Like, our opponent would now have to triple block. Yeah. 2 cards in hand. You know, I think I am just gonna Ravaging Blaze the token here. It seems like kind of bad. I guess I can tap out here. Cancel. What's going on here? Yeah, X is 3. Yeah. Okay. Sorry. So yeah, so the reason I did that is I think the Winnower represents a lot of damage across the course of the game, and like we can race this Elemental, and we have the Unholy Hunger. Yeah, and if this is our opponent's only play this turn, I think what we just do is untap Unholy Hunger our opponent's creature. I guess we don't even have to wait. We can just, or sorry, we don't have to do it now. We can just wait, get in. Opponent goes to 4, making Winnower lethal. Gonna untap here. We're gonna let our opponent go to attacks because the Veteran Sidearm, you know, they may equip it. They may have some other big play that they're going for. Ravaging Blaze on our Winnower. Yep, that happens. Go to 8. We do not have lethal currently. Alright, but I don't want to drop to 4, so I'm going to go ahead and kill this while I can. Alright, well, it's a pretty decent draw. Put our opponent to 1 here, and in red they don't have any out, so they have to kill all of our creatures, which I don't think there are any spells in red that we have to be concerned about. Yeah, certainly not Alchemist Vial. They could play, I guess, you know, a couple Alchemist Vials and come up with something, but you know, as it currently stands, I think we got this one. Of course, next game is going to be more difficult for us because we'll be on the draw. Man, I wish I had like a Guardians Meletus or something, because yeah, our stuff just doesn't stack up great when we're on the draw against a fast red deck. I don't think there's anything we can really change around here, so I'm just gonna send it back. Could bring in Smash. We've seen a couple of targets at this point. So is there anything in our deck that's just like really bad in this matchup? Fleshbag Marauder seems pretty bad, but it's not, you know, the worst, and it's a low drop, so I kind of want to keep it in. The Bloodsucker, our opponent hasn't had that many ways of dealing with flyers, so that seems fine. Yeah. Propor is fine. You know, I think all the cards are basically just okay. Smash, we've seen a couple of equipments so far, and with all the goblins, that the one exalted basically equipment is actually a problem. So I actually do like the idea of bringing in Smash. Yeah, I guess I can cut the Marauder. It does seem like very bad against this opponent. No, still seems like okay. Bloodsucker, like it's just like some of these are so conditional. Bloodsucker can't block anything our opponent has, and yes, it's a clock in the air, but I don't think it's exactly what we want. We've been on the back foot a lot of these games, and we've had to stabilize, and I don't think that Bloodsucker is great when you want to stabilize. This hand is fine. We've got all our colors. We've got a Fiery Impulse for the early game. Nantuko Husk down the line. Could be much worse than this. And we have a turn 2 Fetid Imp, so that's very good against our opponent who's on the all Dragon Fodder deck. Alright. Vial is fine. I like Alchemist Vial. Like, it's a great card to just take, you know, during the draft when you're making a pick that doesn't matter. So you're in, like, you know, the 10th or 11th card in the pack, and you see an Alchemist Vial still there, you can just take that and you know, ride the value a little bit as like a 22nd or 23rd card. And I think this is totally a fine card. You know, it cantrips, it's easy on your mana, it's just all around just a good card. I think here I will take this opportunity to Fiery Impulse, and I will get in. Like, I prefer Alchemist Vial to, I don't know, something a little bit more clunky. Blech. Yikes. So we're going to take a little bit of a hit next turn for sure. Opponent probably has all these Dragon Fodders in their hand. Blightcaster, you say. Blightcaster is good. Can draw a lot of things that make Blightcaster really good. Opponent has 3 cards in hand. I kind of like just playing the Husk here, though, because that allows us to make a block with the Fetid Imp, or forces our opponent to use their Vial now. And I think our opponent has been playing pretty aggressively, and so they may go for that play, and that like takes the Vial off the table. Whereas if I play Blightcaster, demolish. Okay, that's really aggressive, and it's aggressive to hit my. I mean, I understand they want to like choke me off a red somehow, but like not hitting my untapped swamp is like really aggressive. Also, our opponent is playing demolish, guys. So yeah, all right. Yeah, we'll take 3 here. It's not a problem. I mean, I could even, like, I was planning on trading the Fetid Imp. Okay, our opponent didn't attack. Wow. Like, I was planning already on trading the Fetid Imp there. So, if they had attacked, I could have blocked with the Husk and sacked the Fetid Imp. Since they were tapped out, we don't get blown out there in any way. Opponent's on 2. Wow. Okay. So, I think our opponent just went a little bit on tilt there. Yeah, they just drew all lands. So some weird games, but the deck made it. So I'll see you guys in round 2.